Some people are jacked, some people are lean, and some are right in between. And then we got some bear beasts over there just because they're always fun. But that's the beauty of life. Every single person is built differently and has different goals from the self. It'd be pretty boring if every single person on the planet was built the same. Like, it'd just be different, and then like everything has different attributes, as I've talked about so many times before on this channel. But it also goes with fiction. How many of our favorite characters are built differently and how many are built the same or stuff like that? Like, not all your favorite superheroes are built the same. Look, Goku isn't built like Luffy. A freaking Spider-Man isn't built like the Hulk. That's the beauty of life, all right? We all have this variety. And so I decided to just do a video talking about the blueprint of how you can achieve each of the aesthetics of these builds. So, it's Jax with Science Facts. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is explain how you can get these type of builds depending on like where you're starting at. And I'm gonna make it super easy to understand. I won't make it needlessly complicated or anything like that. I'll make it so easy to understand that you could probably explain this to like your grandparents or to someone in elementary school or something like that. So let's just have fun with this, and remember, like, give it your best and don't feel bad about some things. Now, I will say I have an entire playlist of me talking about certain things that I will be covering briefly, but I won't spend as much time in depth covering them. So I just want to say that, and with that said, let's get right into it. So we want to talk about the blueprint of how to attain these different types of physiques in the most meaningful way. So here's the thing that happens. Most people who are starting off, like, you know, they may feel that they are a bit thin, they may feel they're a bit too skinny or something like that, or they may be fit built or skinny fat, where they're just like, they're not necessarily, you wouldn't call them thin, but you wouldn't necessarily say that they're super in shape either, like how they feel about themselves. And then you have people who are a bit hefty right here, you know, sort of like Santa Claus, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're all on our journey to start somewhere, so that is good. Like, that is completely fine, more huggable, and you are working your way to be better. That is completely valid, and y'all kings, queens, and non-binary royales were watching this. So, and this goes for all stuff. I want to say that right now. It's not just men. I just drew guys because I'm better at drawing this because all the Dragon Ball Z over the years. But this is where most people start at. And then the aesthetics of builds most people want to go for, like we've talked about with the different heroes and anime characters and, you know, athletes and celebrities, stuff like that, is lean athletic, fit built, jacked Brolic, bear beast, and healthy fit. And that is a whole bunch of stuff right there that a lot of people are just like, I'd be happy to have one of those, and don't worry, that's what your friendly neighborhood JaxBlade is here for. But the thing you have to turn back to is something I mentioned all the way back in 2016, the 3-leg stool of fitness, because that will never go away no matter how much the world advances. 3-leg stool of fitness will always be key. Patent pending JaxBlade. But like, here you go. The way we talk about the 3-leg stool of fitness before is like, think of fitness like a 3-leg stool. There's always going to be 3 legs, all right? And if one of the legs gives out, then the entire thing collapses. So that relies on your training, your sleep, and your nutrition. So you can maybe like have like a couple that are like stronger and the last one is like feigning, but if it gives out completely, then you're messing up yourself and you're like leaving gains on the table. You don't want that to happen, all right? It sucks. So let's get after it together. So that is going to be the key thing for all the people in their starting positions to attain any of these physiques, nailing their 3-leg stool of fitness, making sure that it is important, like they've got this down. Like, that's very important. This is the key thing. All right. Now, let's start off going over which type of builds you want to go with. So let's start off with lean and athletic. Now, lean and athletic, I want you to think of like people like Bruce Lee or Ultimate Spider-Man in the comics, or Deku, or Saitama at certain points in the manga. Like, sometimes I make him super jacked, sometimes I make him just like, you know, he's fit, but he's not necessarily a mass beast or anything like that. Like, he ain't comparable to say like Goku or something. So think of that. Get that image in your head, and that's what you think of when you think of lean athletic. Now, the good news about lean athletic is, compared to the other ones, I would say that, I wouldn't say it's easier, but I would say that it's less of a challenge to achieve, because losing weight or losing fat necessarily, because I like to say fat instead of weight loss, because there's a difference between weight loss and fat loss. All right, again, massive respect to both these parties, but like, there's a difference between leaning out and just losing weight and like shrinking. All right. But the thing about getting lean and athletic is like, you can literally do any type of training you want to do as long as you're in a caloric deficit. Now again, like I've talked about many times before on this channel, I truly believe in using my FitnessPal for it. Like I've got like a 3,000 30-day streak of my FitnessPal, and it's not anything like to do with like mental health or anything like that. It's literally to keep me from overeating, because like if I didn't use my FitnessPal, it's just a logging site that I'm able to see everything. I'm able to like visibly see like, okay, I ate this today, I don't need to go ham on this, because like I know for myself, like that is a beautiful godsend. I love it, highly recommend it to anyone. But a very simple way you can like find out your calories for yourself, how much you're supposed to achieve. Again, use Google, but you can always do like a simple, take your body weight in pounds, multiply that by 15, and then the amount you see, the number you get is the maintenance level of calories you need to maintain your weight, excuse me. And if you want to lose from that, subtract 300. If you want to gain from that, add 300. Very, very simple process. But again, I truly like my FitnessPal, you know, I think that works the best. But when you're trying to go get lean and athletic, like literally do anything, like if you're like, as long as you are doing resistance training, you're going to build up your muscles, you're gonna make them stronger. Like if you go from any of these, if you lift weights and you're staying in a caloric deficit and you're moving constantly, like doing all this stuff, you will definitely like eventually get to that body type if you are consistent. But remember, you don't have to be like sub 10% body fat, you don't have to be insanely levels of lean to get there. Like if you're like working out, doing your best, you can get like a pretty damn good body. But also like don't feel any shame in Healthy Fit, but I'm gonna give an entire thing on that in a second, so don't feel anything at all like if you feel like this is too much. But yeah, most of these people could go here as long as you are getting your resistance training in, you are eating enough, you're getting enough protein. And again, like there's been this debate on like how much protein you should get like for yourself. Like on the internet it says like 0.82 grams per pound of body weight, but then there's also like the old OG bodybuilders saying like 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I recommend playing around with what works best for you. Like if you've seen this video from me, which is one of my most infamous videos, I'm a vivid believer of testing your body, so go watch that after this to see the full thing. But yeah, like definitely like test your body, see what works best for you. But like that is just throwing that out there. Again, test yourself. And something I want to mention very clearly is that when you are losing like fat, you want to adjust the amount of calories you eat in your deficit accordingly. Like some people will literally stick with like the same calories through the entire way, then they'll hit a plateau and they're like, why am I not losing anymore? And it's just like, well, you're eating the same calories you did when you were like 210 pounds. You're now like 175. You can't be doing that anymore, you know? So like that's certain things to keep in mind. Like don't let yourself fall into that little trap. Next up, when you get to the lean athletic frame, like which you can also get from going to like a boxing class or something like that, if you're like, you know, staying in that deficit and staying like consistent, you can go to FitBuilt. If FitBuilt, think of Chris Evans as Captain America, all right? Like when he's like, you know, curling the thing, or think of like, you know, early Saiyan Saga Goku before using Kaioken, or like, you know, how they drew most people in, you know, DCAU, the Good Justice League, you know what I mean? Like people like that, like that's what you visualize when you think of like FitBuilt, where like they're, you know, got solid bodies to them, but they're not necessarily like insanely like ripped or something like that, you know what I mean? But with this, you can actually go from lean athletic to FitBuilt with a simple 5 to 10 pounds of muscle gain. Now again, like I've said before, this is the challenge, because building muscle is a harder accomplishment than losing fat. Like actively like making sure you are sleeping enough, making sure that you are eating enough, making sure that you are giving your muscles enough progressive overload, or you're going to failure enough, or giving them more time under tension so that your muscles can grow and get stronger. That is going to be the absolute key thing right now, is making sure that your muscles are getting enough repair. So you can't be like staying up late, you got to be doing like a bunch of stuff to make sure you're like getting enough sleep, getting enough nutrients, and making sure that you are progressively overloading those muscles, all right? So it like certain things like that to really focus on growing. But when you do, if you gain 5 to 10 pounds of muscle right here, there's gonna be people who look at you and think you are like jacked Brolic right here. Like I'm not even joking. Like I remember back in high school when Twilight was coming out, and then freaking Taylor Lautner got like buff for those movies where he got like really in shape. There are people like, yo bro, like Taylor Lautner on some Schwarzenegger stuff, man. You seen him recently? And I'm just like, all the fitness people were like, wait, what are you talking about? Because again, no disrespect to Taylor Lautner. He put on like a son of work, which was weird. Like he was the only werewolf who had to work out. Like that was that was weird to me. I'm always gonna say that, like, I'm not a respected dude, but like, yeah, it is a situation where to the uninitiated you will appear bigger. Like I always call it like a genjutsu, like in Naruto, like a genjutsu, where it's just like you appear so much bigger. Like you have a pump and you appear so much bigger every time you do this. So keep that in mind for this. And the way to go about this, again, is just like I've said, you know, making sure you have a solid program. Again, on this channel, got tons of programs on here that you could check out, and also have like that program linked to the pins comment section, which is out right now, so try that out. But yeah, like there is just a ton of stuff you can do to get this type of build for yourself, but remembering that your rep ranges have to count. Like you really have to be getting that time under tension, really focus on progressively overloading those muscles, really trying to get them to grow, all right? And remember, you can do this between 8 to 30 reps that some people are playing around with, because I have a friend who does calisthenics and he does like a bunch of high rep stuff and he is like ripped as fuck. So like I think it like really depends on like how your body responds to it. So definitely play around with that as well. Next up is JaxBlade. Now again, this is a lot harder to maintain and it's a lot harder to achieve for a lot of people. So think of bodybuilders, think of I wouldn't say All Might's a bit excessive or anything like that, but like just think of like bodybuilder type characters, like heck, freaking Chris Hemsworth, Thor, something like that. You know, people like that, super like Brolic people like that. If that's your type of like body type percentage, you know, the simplest way would just be follow a bodybuilding type routine. There's thousands, not millions online, but also, like I said before, making sure your 3-leg stool fitness on point, making sure that you're getting more than enough protein per day. Like again, you're gonna need an appetite for this, because some people, when they're trying to gain muscle, they have a problem like putting on the extra poundage because they don't have much of an appetite. So I recommend like using drinks sparingly. Like I don't say like replace everything with drinks, but like there's a difference between eating a 50-calorie steak and like drinking a drink that's like oh, I gotta do this, not 50-calorie steak, like 50 grams of protein from a steak or something like that, versus drinking 50 grams of protein from like a shake or something like that. So that is something you can play around with if it's what you want to accomplish for your goals, because some people have that entire thing where they see the food and their eyes are bigger than their stomach, but they can't do it. But like if you're trying to drink something, that is so much easier to deal with. And again, growing muscles is a long, arduous process. Now, unless you're a kid with newbie gains or someone who's got the, you know, something like that, it's gonna be a longer, arduous process. So you have to be okay with it taking a while. And some people may never get like certain things because people have different genetics. Some people like will respond really well. Some people will respond really poorly. Some people will respond differently. And it's, you know, it's just the luck of the draw depending on sometimes, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trying your hardest and like giving it your best. But this is all stuff to help you reach yourself and elevate to the next level. But this will just be a while. It's not, you're not gonna appear like this overnight. That's why a lot of people try to use they go from lean athletic to fit bulky, because like it's just an easier like way to like give that genjutsu of like, oh, I'm super jacked, when in reality I'm like just like built like this. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's completely fine. It's completely healthy. And then we have a bear beast right here, which is just for people who want to be like strongman, you know. And I would honestly recommend with this, just like you got to have a healthy appetite too. But like if you're like someone who's like, I'm not trying to maintain like my rips and cuts and stuff like that, then yeah, this is like the way for you. Like it's just like you just eat pretty much what you want. Like if you don't see what Brian Shaw and like all those people are like crushing on a daily basis, it's just like they're just trying to get as much mass to move as much mass as possible, like doing that strongman stuff, and they just becoming superhumanly insanely strong, and it's crazy. But yeah, that is various things to do to achieve that type of body. Like the blueprint for that is literally just making sure 3-leg stool of fitness, healthy appetite, and then when you're going to the gym, you're really trying to like, you know, build that mass. You're really trying to progressively overload those muscles. And then also like when you get to a certain level, like, you know, focus on the strongman stuff. Because again, this isn't for the function aspect of it, is more for the look of it, which again, like is pretty much just like if you want to be this jack dude and not care about your diet, you could do that right away. Like just dirty bulk, as they call it these days. Not as they call it these days, they called it that way in my day too. But yeah, that's something you could do to help yourself achieve those results. But now let's talk about healthy fit. This is just someone who does not care about like aesthetics. They just care about being healthy and fit. And sometimes that means their body will naturally give them ripped abdominals or like, you know, somewhat appearing abdominals and stuff like that. They're in the 10 to 15% range. Sometimes their body fat doesn't show the abs as like well defined or something like that, depending on their genetics. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't train their abs for that. Sometimes they just don't care about that sort of thing. They're just interested in being healthy and fit regardless and just like doing various things. Because here's the most important thing about health and fitness. Are you stronger than you were yesterday? Can you lift more than you did the other day? Can you do more pull-ups than you did the other day? Can you do more whatever type of like exercise for longer periods? Do you have more energy? Do you feel better? How does your mind feel? Are you mentally healthy? All these things play a key role in you achieving your goals for yourself. So don't ever feel bad about this, all right? Like this right here, this healthy fit body, that is completely fine. That is completely fine. That is completely fine over and over and over. I will keep saying that because a lot of people obsess over abs like they're the only thing that matters. No, they're nice. They're nice. I'm not gonna front. Like they are nice to look at in the mirror, but it's not the only thing that matters. And some people will be like, oh, if you don't have abs, it doesn't care. It's just like, that is complete BS, all right? Like freaking Tyson Fury whooped Deontay Wilder's ass. It doesn't matter. Like when it comes to athletics, like abs aren't necessarily like a deciding factor of like, that dude's ripped. That'll do that. Hell, freaking, what's his name? Those YouTubers, Deji and Fuji, they had a match recently and Fuji looked like ripped as hell and then like Deji just came out and outboxed him and stuff like that. Like aesthetics don't equal athletics and functionality. If like you are more functional, then that is perfectly healthy and fine. And it's another thing, like people are saying it's like, oh, like, well, women only care about that. And they like, I guarantee you, like majority of like the very attractive women I know, all right, there's some who are just like, oh yeah, it looks nice, but it's not something they just go like, oh, whatever. Like as a matter of fact, like if you want to go to a place like I saw something at a few cons where like there was this one dude who was built like freaking like Schwarzenegger, and then this other dude, he was like trying to mac on this girl, but then this guy came in who was like a singer and he looked like a freaking average looking dude, but like she like pushed him out of the way. Like she was like swarming to him, like trying to get to him. So there's just certain things like that. Work on your personality.
I lift things up and put them down.
Be a person who's like fun to be around. That is what will get you that sort of attention. But if you just do that, then it's just like you could be like, that's your entire personality and attract some, but then after a while it's just going to be like, well, what else can I offer? Like I feel lonely and stuff like that, or I feel like shit inside, and then that happens to a lot of people. There's a lot of people I know who, like you probably know, who don't talk about that stuff publicly, and it's just, yeah, it happens. Don't feel bad. We're all on a journey to self-betterment and you will get there. I have absolute faith in you. But the one thing I want to talk about, the scientific thing I want to talk about today, is how your metabolism works when you are these different types of things. So for example, this is your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. So what this is, it comes in like 4 different categories. This is the exercise activity thermogenesis, your workouts. This is the thermic effect of feasting. That is, you know, how much food you, how many calories you burn when eating food, because yes, you do. And then your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, like you walk around, me standing up talking to the camera. That's what this is. Now here's the thing, you actually don't burn a lot of calories no matter what your Apple Watch tells you when you're lifting weights. Your body just doesn't like respond to it like to burn a lot of calories when doing it. It does burn a lot more during cardio though, but considered the rest of the day, it's a very minimal amount. Next is the thermic effect of feasting. So basically like the food you eat, because like there are certain foods that'll actually burn calories when you're like consuming them. So exactly what like they all do, but like it takes your body a certain amount of calories to break it down and utilize it. So protein as the most like thermic effect of food, where it's like it burns, it takes the most to break down. All right, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm making this easy to understand. I want to make sure. And then neat, as I've talked about before, is you just walking around, just I'm doing whatever, like you fidgeting, you tapping, you walking. That's why I always say get those 10 to 12K steps per day, because like they truly do add up, and you will start noticing yourself if you're having a problem getting leaner, like you go, what the heck's going on here? So those are just all little things I've mentioned so many times before on this channel. But the thing about weight training is it builds more muscle. And muscle, like I've talked about before, is more active tissue. And what does more active tissue do? It means your basal metabolic rate goes higher. So you strengthening your muscles in the gym, lifting those weights, does so much for you. Does so much for you just like physically and healthily, and then also let you help you eat like these favorite characters of yours, all right? I'm just saying, like it helps you eat like them. So keep that in mind. The more muscle you have on your frame, you don't have to go ham with it, just the more muscle you have will allow you to eat more and then like allow you to burn more calories at rest. So when you're just like chilling, playing freaking video games, you'll be able to burn a lot more calories at rest just because you are now this freaking like goat right now. Like that's how it is. Like that's how freaking awesome like muscle building is and how great your total daily energy expenditure is at helping you to burn calories just to help you stay healthy, fit, and look great. But everyone has different goals for themselves, and I'm curious right now, what are your goals for yourself and where are you starting at? What goal do you want for yourself? Like let's look at the comment section to like whole conversation going. I really love when we have these sort of conversations and stuff like that, and I'm very curious where you're at. And if you made it this far in the video, type in "I'm a beast" down below. It lets me know who stayed the longest in the videos, and also just like I like that encouragement. Like I'm a beast. You are a beast. Like that's what it is. Like you were saying this yourself. I'm a beast, so you don't forget about it. You are. So don't forget about that. I have none but faith in you. But I want to say thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit the bell icon and subscribe and check out the rest of my videos. But I have a very great announcement. The first part of my program, Hybrid Theory, which I've been talking about for months, my program that I've been working with personal trainers, physical therapists, MMA fighters, calisthenic people, and all these people like I'm giving the first free portion of it away right now. So hit that link in the pinned comment right now to check it out. And yeah, it's just, I've had so much fun working on it. I like had to do a bunch of stuff. It's just a very, this is just the free portion of it. So you'll see like as you go along with it. But yeah, I'm just super excited to get that out there. But check that out. And yeah, more advanced edited videos coming soon. But I saw this question on my email and I want to take a break from like all the advanced editing stuff. I was like, okay, I want to answer this as quickly as possible. But like I really want to go in on it and make it fun too, so I always love doing that. But remember, like I always say, keep calm, booyah on, and don't forget, moment time. Now go crush the rest of your day. Peace.